So at the beginning of this whole thing, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I gave it a chance and I did. I think I got to talk about it. I think I got to talk about it. I think I got to talk about something. I think we're going to talk about some Olympic ice hockey. And of course, I am back. I am WeCake'n and I am your host. Thank you for being here. I am here. You are here. This episode, we revisit the last episode, which was only 10 minutes, and I was ranting. I was not having it with the Olympics at all. At all. It was hard to find, it was hard to view, there was no great highlights. It was extremely hard to find. Copyright, 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 copyright. So stupid. So stupid. But I found it and I watched it. And some of it was phenomenal, and some of it was super boring. However, Team USA, you know what? I kept on calling them Team Minnesota. I kept having that. I kept calling them Team Minnesota. That was my problem. I kept calling them. I gotta make sure everyone can see everything in the beautiful video and the beautiful frame. I didn't put all this time, energy, and effort in this. People will not see all this beautiful stuff. First, I was just hating. I was upset. Because I wanted to watch it. I got really excited. I hyped myself up for it. I'm like, you know what, dude? Let's just go into this. Let's just try to be a fan. Let's just try to be a fan. Let's just go into this thing and try to enjoy it. And it was almost impossible to enjoy because I couldn't find half the games. It was hard to consume. It was difficult to consume. There were no highlights because they got copyright claimed and there was no anything. So that made it really hard to watch. And I have a lot of notes that I made for myself. Biggest hockey game in over a decade. Over a decade. And we got to watch it last week. Arms are stuck like this, right? I'm Team USA. I live in Minnesota. Minnesota Wild fan. So watching all this, it's been spectacular. It's been cool to be a part of it, honestly. Because when it comes to like your own individual state or city or province, whatever, you don't always win every year. You might not win in your lifetime, but when it comes to your country, celebrate that. And the best thing about that, just like in the commercials, you can celebrate that with everybody around you for the most part. 99.9% of people because they're American. And you're all of something. You can all celebrate together. And that is the great thing about the games. That brings a lot of people together. Brings a lot of people together. I like that about the Olympic Games. So how did this event work? Well, there was 12 teams in this event. Why did I say this was the biggest hockey game in a decade? The Olympics has happened a couple more times since a decade. We know we know it was the first time in a decade that NHL players were allowed back into the tournament. They did 3 groups of 4, top teams straight to the quarters, other than qualification, playoffs, and then there's a knockout bracket. Now, in the group performances, obviously, there's 2 big superpowers. There's Team USA, there's Team Canada. If you are a hockey fan, if you know anything about hockey, if you know much about the Olympics, you will know about Team USA and their defeat over the Russians or whatever. This tournament, everybody knows about it because it has essentially some of the bigger superpowers or some of the larger countries or whatever. Those countries are normally the more successful. United States of America, Canada, Russia, or whatever they want to call themselves in whatever tournament, USSR, Soviet Union, whatever you want to call yourself. And as far as it is right now, Russia is not invited to compete in any of these tournaments. So it's USA and Canada. And USA, they had something called a miracle on ice 46 years ago. They beat the Soviet Union. They beat Russia 4-3, I believe it was. They had a big celebration. Huge moment. Amateurs beat the best players in the world. In the world. Huge game. Huge game. And what happened in this Olympic Games is that the big superpowers were Team USA, Team Canada. Team Canada, listen to this. 20 goals for, 3 goals against in their Group A. Was it Finland? They just 8-0 it was? I mean, they beat the life out of them. 11-0, sorry. I don't know if it was like 11-1 at the end, but they swamped them. It was bad. It was bad. And then the USA, they went 16-5 for their goal differential, and that was their Group C. Italy, the host, got slammed and they went 0-3 drop. They went 0-3 drop. They're like, you know what? We're done. We're off to the bars. Dude, I don't even wonder. I wonder if that team would even like show their face at the rest of the games or the Olympic Village or anything like that. You gotta wonder. So Finland absolutely crushed them. 6-1. Ow. Ow, that does not feel very good. 6-1 to get crushed for a bronze medal. That was the end of that game. Now, talk about the U.S. Now, the U.S. quarterfinal. They beat Sweden in a 2-1 overtime game. And Quinn Hughes on the Minnesota Wild. Quinn Hughes scores the overtime winner. So Team USA was sweating. Quinn Hughes made it so that Team USA could continue their tournament and, of course, their hopes for that first overall gold medal. Semifinal. Oh, they just blasted their way through the 6-2 against Slovakia. So Slovakia, they get used to getting beat by 6 or get 6 goals scored against them. It was not good against Slovakia. It was pretty easy for them. Flip it on over to the other side, Canada. Canada, I mean, against Czechia, 4-3 in overtime. They barely won that game. I almost thought Canada wasn't going to win because it looked like Czechia was up, I think, 3-2 late in the third. I was at work, so I was only checking what I could with this really, really crummy scoreboard and they beat Finland 3-2 in the semis. However, the biggest thing that happened in the semifinals, in that victory, they lost what may have been the deciding factor for the gold medal. They lost their captain, Sidney Crosby. And Sidney Crosby is a hockey god. He is on the Mount Rushmore of hockey. Crosby's on there. Crosby's on there. And I hate to say it, and you really hate to say it, it almost feels like the Mount Rushmore of hockey is more like 4 Employee of the Month picture frames. Feels like a lot of them just got polished for a lot. Just like, all right, we're going to polish this every month, not change it, not change it, not change it. Well, now they finally had to change them. And now it's like, well, sorry, Mr. Howe. No offense to Mr. Howe, but we're gonna have to take your name off and retire you back in the Hall of Fame. We gotta put Crosby up here. Sorry, Mr. Orr. We're gonna have to take your name off here. That's what's happening. And it's okay. They're gonna go into maybe a different style of Hall of Fame. And maybe that's an okay thing. I'm okay with having eras of Hall of Fames, and I think that's something that fans should probably discuss and be okay with, because eventually you got to think about this game's only going to continue, and that's what you want to happen. You only want the game to continue. You only want the sport to continue. So you shouldn't get in a certain way of feeling for the way that you proceed with something like that. Nonetheless, Crosby, he gets injured. He's out, and he doesn't come back for the finals. Crosby does not come back for the finals. Fast forward to the finals. This game was intense. It was intense from the very beginning. And the thing that I liked so much about this final, it felt like both teams were trying extremely hard to win, but then it felt like part of the way through the game, it really did feel like Team USA just completely took their foot off the gas. And it was bad. I mean, we're talking, there was a 17-shot goal differential, about 10 minutes left in the second period. Team USA had about 15 shots. Canada had about 32. Team Canada was just blasting shots, bombarding shots on Team USA. But not to start from the beginning. To start from the beginning, it was really exciting. To start off, Matt Boldy, he scores. What was it, 6 minutes into the hockey game? And Matt Boldy, he scores in a and just a way that establishes dominance. A goal that when scored, you look around as a goal scorer and you're like, that's how you let. Not only was it a tricky goal, but it just showed how talented Matt Boldy is. Matt Boldy is so talented that not only was he able to split the defense, he juggled the puck to himself once, juggled again on the backhand, I believe. Not only did he split the defense, but not only did he split the Olympics top-rated first pairing for defense, Cale Makar and Devon Toews. Spoiler alert, those two players are actually teammates for their professional team, the Colorado Avalanche, where they're a top defensive pairing there. So these two teammates didn't need any adjustment period to get to know how to play with one another. They already know how to play with one another, and it was this defensive pairing that got split. He bounced the puck, caught it. Felt like I think it was on his bounced it again on his backhand, caught it, and then backhanded it again, beating Binnington 1-0 USA. Huge eruption from the crowd. It was insane. It was so hype. 1-0 Team USA. Now, Team Canada definitely started stepping it up. And there was a lot of other goal opportunities, but there was also some penalties that ended up happening. Now, I think the penalties were more in the second period to where it was Jake Genskol and Dylan Larkin, I believe, that went to the penalty box, if I was sure. Canada doesn't score. Not only do they not score, they take a penalty. I don't remember who goes to the box for Canada. This is all out of order. Second period, Team USA gets like 5 shots, if that, on net. Team Canada gets, like I said, 20 plus shots on net. They have total control of the game. Devon Toews, one of those defensive pairing players that we were just speaking about that got split, he has a wide open net chance. That gets blocked by Hellebuck, who has his paddle just extended in the very back and gets the puck, blocks the puck, no goal. Huge save, biggest save of the tournament. Not to mention, Nathan MacKinnon later in the hockey game has a wide open net, and I believe he either shoots it in the outside of the net or hits post. No goal. Team USA also got a large power play. They got a 4-minute power play. Jack Hughes ends up getting high-sticked by Sam Bennett, tipping a tooth, I believe, and causing his lip to bleed, giving the Team USA a 4-minute double minor, which they did not score. You know who does score? Cale Makar. Cale Makar scores, and it's a tie hockey game. And this is all out of order, at least for the last power play, I think. I know I have some of these events out of order, but Makar, I know that Boldy scored first. I think Makar may have scored in the second. We go to overtime. Next goal wins. That simple. Just like how it was when it was laid outside. Next goal wins. McDavid goes in for the goal, tries to speed around the net, gets stuffed by Hughes, as we are in overtime. Hughes skates the puck around, dumps it to Werenski. Werenski just says, let's do give and go. Hughes starts skating down the ice. Werenski give and goes it. Now it's a 2-on-1. Hughes skates over. He drops it to Werenski, and Werenski actually shrugs MacKinnon off. He goes, kind of like pushes him off. In overtime, that give and go is just so beautiful. The give and go from Werenski to Hughes, and then Werenski gets the puck. He just shoves Jacks MacKinnon right off that puck. MacKinnon goes, ice slippery, falls back. Gives Werenski just enough time to pass it right across the ice to Hughes, who has nobody on him. McDavid's given up on the play. McKinnon's right by Werenski. Hughes just shoots it right at the goalie. It goes right between the goalie's legs. 5-hole, as they call it in hockey. And that's the game. Team USA wins 2-1. Connor Hellebuck, 41 saves. And Hellebuck just couldn't get beaten. He got beaten once by Makar. Never again. Never again. It was just insane to watch the Hughes brothers both win games. Of course, Quinn winning against, what was it, Sweden earlier, and then, of course, Jack winning against Canada. The unfortunate MVP again is Connor McDavid, who can't stop getting crowned the most valuable player in every big game that he loses. It's got to be rough. And of course, he had a lot of younger players, a lot of first-round picks. Slavkowski, Celebrini, of course, Crosby, McKinnon, Matthews, Tavares. If I didn't name you, sorry. So many just talented players playing in this tournament. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I hope everybody enjoyed watching the tournament. I mean, at first, I was like not having it just because it was just so hard to find. It was just so hard to find. And then I found it and I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe I'll enjoy it. And that finals was everything I could have asked for. Not only as an American hockey fan, but just as a global hockey fan. It was a great game to watch, and you could definitely tell just how much effort was put into the game. But the way it was played, it definitely looked like it was going to Team Canada. Team Canada had all the talent. Having Sidney Crosby, their captain, injured, I definitely think was a huge deciding factor. I think if Crosby played, I think Canada wins. I think Canada definitely wins. That tilts the amount of talent in Canada's favor to just an unfair amount. That's like literally having that's like being in that's like being in elementary school and having all the fifth graders like just having 5 fifth graders on a hockey team and having everybody else and having like 10 first graders and your fifth graders just plowing over kids, just running them over because they're just larger, they're just bigger, right? They're older. It almost felt like that. Not like Space Jam Monster, like not like they're crushing them, but it just felt like they just could control them, and there's nothing they could do to like take the puck away from them. And every time they shot, it was just gonna go in. But it was a beautiful game. It was a beautiful game. I really enjoyed it. The hard part now is we're just gonna have like this Olympics depression to where like NHL hockey is gonna be fun to watch, but watching players actually feel like they're achieving something other than just the Stanley Cup, I want to see more of that. I want to see more games. I want to see games that are maybe bigger. I wonder if the NHL started doing something to where like they made certain games bigger and like, hey, this game, whoever wins it gets 5 points. And you get like 4 in your schedule. What if they had games like that? Like, hey, whoever wins this game gets 5 points in the leaderboards. Maybe it's only like divisional. Maybe it's like 8 divisional games around the season that, hey, you beat your division rival or something, you'll go up 5 extra points. You get 4 extra points or something. What if they did that'd be something that might be or 3, I don't know, 2 extra points. Maybe five's too much, but you know what I mean? Something that actually is like, oh wow, they keep beating everyone around them. No one can stop them. They're the best in their area. I don't know. I think that might be kind of cool. I think that could be another opportunity for them to create some sort of atmosphere that is similar to the Olympics, similar to Great Nations, to where a player is going to play their heart out mid-season, not for the Stanley Cup, but for something else, or maybe a shot at it. We need something for these players to not just treat every game is just a game. We want more, and I know that this league is capable of giving that to us. I know these players are capable of giving it to us, and I had a great time. That is a brotherhood that will exist forever, frozen in ice, and I like that, and I hope they keep it that way. And I hope everybody watching this, you enjoyed me talking about Olympic hockey. I liked watching the Olympics. I hope all of you also enjoyed watching the Olympics. In the comments below, let me know what you thought about it. Ask me a question. Let's keep the discussion of hockey going. Hit me up on X. Ask me a question there. Let's talk hockey. So much fun talking with all of you tonight. I really enjoyed, like I said, talking Olympics, talking about my opinions, and of course, I can't wait to hear your own. If you want to join me on my journey, hit me at that like. There's that follow button too. And of course, subscribe. And there's a few bell icons too if you really want to be a super fan or a super listener or a super viewer or whatever you want to call yourself. I am WeCake'n. Thank you so much for listening to the Olympic Talk. And next 4 years, you know I'll be here doing the same thing. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Talk to you next time. I am WeCake'n. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you soon. Bye now.